friend. You're a
Friend.
person who reads,
Yes,
right? I know that you watch movies. You maybe even enjoy the occasional dramatic play.
I do.
So you could probably tell when the author has decided we need a distraction. Usually it's something malicious designed to create panic or cause chaos long enough to divert attention away from the main objective, like a robbery or an escape. You know what I'm talking about.
I do. I sure do.
Around 1919, thanks to Supreme Court Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes Jr., yelling fire in a crowded room became one of those common distractions.
Mm.
It's even carried over into modern day. I know you've seen it or heard it. And his legal opinion swept the nation. He limited the First Amendment by saying the most stringent protection of free speech would not protect a man in falsely shouting fire in a crowded theater, causing a panic. I agree with him. That's kind of a
Yeah,
heinous thing,
that is heinous.
right? So imagine it. Go with me on a little journey.
I'm ready.
Instead of watching this scene play out on a stage or on the pages of your book, you're in a crowded room. You're with your friends and your family and you're socializing. Then a voice rings out over the chorus of merriment around you. Silence falls, and the voice shouts again, "Fire!" The silence turns to mayhem. The sea of people around you surges for the door. You're running for your life. You're holding your husband's hand, and suddenly you fall. The last thing you feel are the heels of people stampeding over you before you succumb to your wounds.
That's horrifying.
That very thing happened more than 30 times from 1870 to 1919, leading to
30?
more than 130
Oh my god.
30 times,
Kitty.
right? More than 150 people died that way.
That's
And today,
Mm.
we're going to investigate one of those incidents.
Welcome to Wreckage and Ruins. Each week, we investigate disasters, man-made and natural, legendary last stands, medical mishaps, and everything in between. Each of the ruins unfold into a story, and we're here to understand why it happened and what came after.
We're your hosts, Cece and Kitty, and the Italian Hall was a total disaster.
Give it to me,
On
Kitty.
On Christmas Eve, 1913, 73 people, 59 of them children, died during a party organized for striking workers and their families.
Oh my god.
The residents of Red Jacket, now known as Calumet in the northern peninsula of Michigan, were on strike from the Calumet and Hecla Mining Company. We're going to call that C&H going forward because I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it correctly, and I don't want people to come for me. So please forgive me. I tried super hard, guys. In the 1870s, C&H was known for being the largest copper producer in the world, and they also had the world's deepest copper mines.
I never think of Michigan. I would have never thought of Michigan as being a mining town. I think whenever I think of mines, I think of Pennsylvania. So yeah, this is the first time I'm hearing that there's even mining in Michigan.
Right. And then, I'm from Western Virginia. Because of where I am, my little bubble of the world, all mining takes place in Western Virginia for us.
Right. Yeah, no, West Virginia, I totally see that too. But those are probably some of the only, especially coal. But you said this isn't coal. This is
Copper.
copper. Okay, that makes sense.
Right.
Cool.
So in July of 1913, the Western Federation of Miners called a strike against all copper country mines. They're asking for a $3 daily wage, which in today's money would be $98, right? That's not a ridiculous amount of money at all because
Not
they're
even
asking for $98 a day,
a
not an
day.
hour, a day.
A day.
If you work a regular day, that would come out to like $12.30 an hour. And that's actually less than the average copper miner makes.
That's insane. That's
It
wild to
is.
me.
ZipRecruiter says the average range is between $17.79 and $39 an hour
Today.
today.
Oh my god.
and they wanted
Wow.
to make $3 a day.
A day.
So, not ridiculous. They also wanted to work 8-hour days, they wanted safer working conditions, and they wanted representation.
That's not a lot to ask for.
It is not a lot to ask for, but we're going through a complicated time in American history. It's the second industrial revolution. We're arguing as a society about workers' rights, gender issues, immigration. I think I'm going to probably give you like an American History 101 refresher right now, just to kind of set the stage for the political climate that we're in.
Okay, good idea.
We're departing from the Gilded Age and we're entering into the progressive era at this point in time. The voices of the laboring force are just starting to be heard. The Gilded Age, also known as the Second Industrial Revolution, was the period in United States history of rapid economic growth and industrialization. American wages were higher for skilled workers, and you're bringing an influx of European immigrants here because of those high wages.
Hmm.
Though those wages are growing very rapidly, there's still an unequal distribution of wealth. The wealthiest 2% of Americans owned more than one third of the national wealth, and
Hmm.
the top 10 held roughly three quarters.
Wow. Okay. Kinda sounds
Yeah,
familiar.
it does. It does. The more they change, the more they stay the same, I think.
That's right. I think so.
The inverse to that economic growth is that human well-being is in decline. Life expectancy is declining, infant mortality is declining, infant mortality is increasing, and child mortality is increasing.
Oh god.
Poverty is on the up, and so is overcrowding in tenements and large cities. Disease is spreading like wildfire.
Mm.
Have you been to the Biltmore?
Yes. It's beautiful.
Right. So, it's massive, it's
Mhm.
stone, it's gorgeous. They planted that whole forest around there and then put in, like, a 3-mile winding driveway to add mystery to the opulence, right?
Sure.
Like, they've got 250 rooms just for entertaining guests at their vacation home,
Vacation. I
right?
didn't know that was just a vacation home. I thought
It's
that
a
was like,
vacation.
oh
No,
my
that's not their
gosh.
primary residence. This is where they go for the summer and to throw parties, like, that's what this is for. It's not their primary residence,
That's
or at
so
least it
insane.
wasn't intended to be. I
So
and
that's the
that was
kind of
only that's a Gilded Age mansion or
yeah,
a Gilded Age estate. It was only opened 18 years prior to the story that we're talking about today, also on
okay.
Christmas Eve in 1895.
Oh, wow, okay.
So you have this opulence at the Biltmore,
Yeah.
and inversely, you have the average American living in a cramped, multi-generational dwelling, working for 20 cents an hour, 665 in today's money, in conditions that would absolutely make an OSHA inspector's head spin.
I can only imagine. I can't even imagine.
No,
No.
it's a scary time to be alive and to be a part of the working class.
No kidding. Yeah.
Working conditions are harsh, they're dangerous, they're unsanitary. You're working 12 plus hour days, 6 days a week. The equipment is dangerous, the wages are low, like we previously talked about. And that's if you're being paid in cash money. Sometimes you're being paid in company script, and company script can only be spent at the company's store.
Right.
The company store is charging you higher prices than the shops on the open market because they've got you. You have no choice. You don't have any actual money.
Right.
So now you're paying for things you can't afford that you need, and the company store is allowing you to take on debt so that you can afford your essentials. And you're effectively enslaving yourself and trapping people in their jobs.
That's so insane. Who
It
came up with
is.
that?
Someone clearly unethical, like
Yeah, I
a
think that's a good word
supervillain.
for it. Yes. Supervillains are definitely unethical, I think.
So,
Gross.
you remember
Okay.
the song 16 Tons?
No.
Okay. Um, it was written by Merle Travis. He was a coal miner in 1945, and I know he's
Mhm.
talking coal in the song, but it's applicable to anybody who's working in these mining communities or is paid in scrip, working themselves into debt, basically.
Wow.
Um, he's talking about debt bondage, and the song goes, "You load 16 tons, what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store." Right?
Wow.
That's what he's talking about. He's talking about this debt bondage that, you're working really hard, your fingers to the bone, and still you're in debt. You can't claw your way out of this. They've designed it that way.
Right.
Someone
How are you can't,
unethical.
like, save money or do anything outside of your own community if you're not getting enough cash, right, to subside. There's no way.
Right. And they did that on purpose.
Yeah,
You're trapped now.
that's so miserable. That's, like, dystopian, for real.
It is. But this is a very real thing in American history. And so all of those factors combined gave rise to organized labor unions and the progressive movement. The progressive movement was focused on political and social reform. They wanted labor rights, women's suffrage, economic reform, and environmental protections, as well as the welfare of the poor to be taken care of. The labor unions specifically fought for better wages, working conditions, and restrictions regarding child labor.
Bare minimum.
Like, yeah, and also children don't belong in mines. Why are the
No.
children in the mines?
In my family, my dad's both sides of my dad's family were coal miners in Pennsylvania, and they would put the children to work doing something called, like, coal breaking, I think you would call it. They called them breaker boys. So there would be these long, like, like, open conveyor type things where they would, like, go down and, like, break up the coal, I guess. I wish I knew more about that, but, um, I think about that a lot because they were just like little kids, and the point was that they were lower to the ground. But the other thing I think of was this video that I saw where a guy was showing a door in a coal mine, and he said that it would be a little boy's job to hear the cart coming that was being pulled by a horse, and his job was to open the doors in time for the horses or mules. Um, and all I kept thinking was, that's a lot of trust to have in a child.
Yeah?
I
Like, you're
really
stressing me out. Stressing me out here. Like,
God bless them,
I can't. I
'cause
can't.
no, I don't can't can't do it.
No, and I mean, thinking about like childhood and things like that. I could not be trusted as a child
No,
to pay
no.
attention to that. I'd have
Mm-mm.
found like a cool bug or a neat
Right.
rock, and I would absolutely have not been. I don't know. Kids were built different back
Yeah.
then. They had to be.
No one would
I
have been
just
putting me in the mines to do work.
no, absolutely not. So we want restrictions regarding child labor
Certainly.
and just better all overall conditions. The public came together against monopolies. Lawmakers were working to regulate these massive corporations. Their corporations are flaunting economic and purchase political power. It's a very tenuous time for our country. So, labor unions and their women's auxiliaries are organizing strikes and labor stoppages, and they're trying to gain bargaining power and elevate the position of the working class.
Okay.
And that brings us to Christmas Eve. The Women's Auxiliary Group of the Western Federation of Miners organized a Christmas Eve party for the miners and their families at the Italian Benevolent Society building. The building is better known as the Italian Hall. Party was meant to increase morale and bolster support for this really long strike. The hall was packed with more than 600 people at one point. It was a very gleeful event filled with holiday joy, worker solidarity, adults are socializing, children are being given gifts, drinks are flowing, everybody's having a really good time. It
Wait, Kitty, do you know if they were this is this is our family thing. We're Italian, and so we do seven fishes. So all I can
us
think of
too.
is, okay, I'm glad I never meet anyone who knows what seven fishes is. Um, or I've heard about it, but it's never something I actually meet people in person that know about it. So, you know, I'm wondering if they had done their seven fishes before they left. Were they going to do it when they got home? It's very important.
I think that this is a pretty multicultural group of people that just happens to
Sure.
be meeting at the Italian hall.
Okay.
So they're probably doing that at home. And then, it's funny that you say that you don't know a lot of people that do the seven fishes. We've been doing that for so long. And it's funny because I'm allergic to fish. So we
Oh
don't
no,
get
Kitty.
you don't remember I'm allergic to fish? Okay. So I'm allergic to fish, so I can't enjoy the plethora of fish. And rather than, just feeding me like a sad bowl of soup, my mom tries to make it inclusive for me. So we have like crab legs and mussels and all of those things.
Yeah, that's super
If it comes
normal.
from the ocean or a river, it counts.
Yeah, in our family rules, it's more like just kind of seafood and seafood adjacent is uh is fishes. So caviar, mussels, clams,
Yeah, that counts. That
lobsters,
all
anything
counts.
like that, we're calling it fishes.
Yes, that all counts. But my mom was giving me like nightmares the other day because she was talking. We're kind of getting like close to the holiday season and
Yeah.
all. She was talking about how great grandmom used to keep eels in her bathtub so that they would
No.
be fresh. And I was like, "What do you mean eels in her bathtub?" She's like, "Well, I'm not. There was a guest bathroom, and the guest tub had eels in it. Like, don't tell me anymore.
The
I
casual
don't
eels,
need to know
bathtub eels.
anymore.
How do you like
I
to cook
can't.
your bathtub eels?
I don't. I don't.
We don't.
We don't.
This episode is brought to you by Executive Law Partners, PLLC, in Fairfax, Virginia. XLP focuses on business litigation, corporate transactions, government contracts, estate law, personal injury, and wrongful death. When things go sideways, you want a legal team that knows how to steady the ship. XLP is here to help. Seasoned attorneys with real-world experience can walk you through your options to get the relief you need. For more information, please visit their website at xlppllc.com or find the link on the Wreckage and Ruins website sponsor page. And make sure to tell them we sent you. It's so valid. I love that.
Okay, moving on. We're bolstering support for this long
Yes.
strike. Everybody's having a really good time. Until someone yelled fire.
Oh my God.
This huge crowd says, "We got to get out of here." They make a break for the single stairway that's leading outside. This created a bottleneck, or as Mr. Kitty would call it, a fatal funnel.
Oh no.
People panicked, they tripped, they fell, they knocked others down with them. Men, women, and 59 children were crushed and suffocated in seconds on this steep and narrow staircase as other people climbed over them in an attempt to flee the flames.
That's so horrifying. And it's crazy how quickly kind of like your baser instincts take over when you're in a moment of true panic. Because these were their
Yes.
friends and family, there are children, and people are so scared that they're bowling them over and trampling them.
Right, and
That's
you don't
very
know what it's gonna
interesting.
be. Is it fight, flight, or what's the freeze? You
Freeze or
don't know what it's gonna
yeah,
be. And so all of these people were like, "We have to get out of here."
right,
And I would like to think that if I saw someone being trampled, that I would stop to help them, but you don't know until you're in that situation.
right.
And, clearly everybody is not helping people off the ground. You're
Yeah.
willing to climb over the other people to save yourself. So that's really scary. And it, of course, caused absolute pandemonium.
Yeah. Can imagine.
But
Oh,
as that fear faded, they realized there's no fire.
there's
None.
no
No
fire?
fire. No fire.
No. That was
Yep.
just somebody
It was
being an
a
asshole? Like,
Yep, it was a false cry, and it was intended to induce panic and kind of ruin this Christmas Eve party. Um, they think that it might have been someone from CNH or a private citizen with anti-union beliefs just trying to ruin the festivities.
that's so sinister.
It is.
That was malicious. It seems malicious.
It was absolutely malicious. And, you would hope that they didn't know what was going on and that, people would die, but this was an ongoing problem. This happened 30 times.
Yeah. Oh,
So we know that yelling fire in a crowded room is really dangerous.
and it's not funny.
Uh, no, it's
So,
not. It's
yeah, that is
mm,
malicious, and there's no you can't explain that away.
no, there is no reasonable explanation for yelling fire in a crowded room that you could get away with unless there's an actual fire.
Right.
There's an actual threat to life other
Right.
than you yelling fire.
Ugh.
So, as if that's not bad enough, the aftermath to this was bewildering.
Mm.
The dead were carried from the heap in the stairwell to the town hall, which had been set up as a makeshift morgue to identify the dead.
Our,
The
alternate reality podcast name, Makeshift Morgue.
Yes, makeshift morgue and the tagline, "You're stressing me out."
You stress me out every time.
Yes, you're gonna hear that a lot, guys.
Yeah. Spoiler.
Mm. Yes. In the process of identifying the fallen, some of the children found that they were now orphaned, and other families found that they were going to be grieving the loss of multiple children.
This is catastrophic.
Absolutely, it was. The small mining town was not prepared for this kind of mass casualty event. They had to have coffins express shipped, funeral homes, churches, grave diggers, horse drawn hearses, and florists alike all had to work together in unprecedented ways.
Can you imagine arranging that?
No, and it gets worse. I'm gonna tell
Oh,
you.
no.
Yeah,
Okay, okay, sorry.
it's all right. On December 28th, smaller funerals were held in churches around town before a massive funeral procession was formed, and the children's caskets were carried by Union men's while adults were
Mhm.
transported on horse-drawn hearses and sleds. There were 20,000 spectators that
Oh
came
my
to watch this procession.
20,000 in this little
20,000
town in
in
Michigan.
this tiny little town, and you have everybody's funeral happening on the same day in one really long procession.
Ugh,
So, yeah, I
that
can
sounds
you
heartbreaking
imagine,
and
you have
chaotic and
well, I mean, think about it when we were working. So you've got 2 funerals happening at the same time, how on the
Mhm.
same page everybody has to be,
Right.
and now you've got 79 funerals happening at the same time, and everybody's coming together for one big procession. Nobody can be late. Everybody has to be moving at the same time, doing the same thing, exactly where they're supposed to be in order for
Yeah.
this to go correctly.
It's
So,
a logistical nightmare, I think.
is it stressing you out?
It's stressing me out, kitty, and that's terrible because this is, like, heartbreaking, but I can't help but think of the back end of that, having to arrange all that, unfortunately. People are probably gonna think I'm heartless because 'cause I'm like, "That sounds like a logistical terror," but, no, the whole thing just kinda top to bottom sounds like a disaster.
Yeah. 500 of those spectators were actually iron miners who came to march in the procession and show solidarity with the striking workers.
Oh, wow.
Mhm. and they had a brass band play, and the strikers, along with their family, sang hymns as they carried the caskets to the cemetery.
Oh, that's goosebump worthy.
The workers had dug multiple long trenches at the Lakeview Cemetery with separate graves for Catholics, Protestants, and other faiths.
Hmm.
The graveside service lasted into the evening, and the eulogies were delivered in multiple languages.
Wow. Hmm.
Remember, you've got a diverse population here, so just because we're meeting at the Italian Hall doesn't mean that everybody's Italian and Catholic. You've
Yeah,
got everybody from the mine that's on strike meeting together.
that makes sense. I want yeah,
And
English, Italian, maybe German.
yeah, you got kind of everybody there.
Yeah. That's really powerful though, that not only did all the different ethnic groups come out for it, the community, but even the neighboring communities with the other miners. That's super powerful.
It really is that everybody was able to come together that way in support of this community.
Yeah, absolutely.
You had some families remain in the area to support the strike, and then others who were stricken with grief and just could not be there any longer moved on, seeking opportunities elsewhere.
I don't blame them.
But the strikers who stayed remained at odds with the company men for decades after the deaths. Some of the miners held the suspicion and they passed down the suspicion for generation that C&H mining caused the catastrophe. This is so believed that some people in the area still refer to it as the 1913 massacre.
I mean, it sounds like that, right?
It's very sketchy. It really is that, there's a long strike and these people are trying to have fun and have a good time, and then coincidentally someone comes in and tries to ruin the fun. Who else would it be?
Truly, truly. I mean, I guess the only other thing that I can imagine is if it was like an asshole kid, like a teenager maybe, who thought that was funny because we know that's not funny. It's malicious, but maybe like a shithead
Well, I mean,
teenager maybe,
teenagers,
but
like, your frontal lobe isn't developed,
right.
so
So that's really honestly the only other thing that I can think of. I can't think of an adult doing that. Uh,
without
so
malicious intent.
exactly. So who knows? But
So
it really sounds suspicious on the part of, like you said, of CNH.
right, and that belief is still held by some of the, uh, descendants of the people that were striking there.
Wow.
Woody Guthrie even wrote a song, named 1913 Massacre, and he accused the company thugs of holding the doors shut to increase the panic, and he ended the song with "See what your greed for money has done." So this was a very
Ooh.
held belief by this
Yeah.
community.
Do you know if somebody was holding the door shut or is that a myth?
We do not know if somebody was holding the doors shut. It is mostly described as a myth or explained as a myth. Um, a local and congressional investigation failed to identify a culprit.
No.
Um,
So
yeah,
to
nope,
this day, we don't know.
we do not know.
Oh, no.
Nobody made a deathbed confession. Nobody admitted to this. Witnesses did testify that the person responsible wore an anti-union Citizens Alliance button, but
Hmm.
that's all we know. We don't even know if it was somebody from the community, and it probably wasn't, because if it was somebody
Sure.
from this small community, you would think that people would have been able to say, like, "This is the person who did it."
Right. Somebody had to have known. Like, if you think of even, like, my high school was kind of small because it was the first year that it was open when I was a freshman. And so I'm kind of thinking it like that. Like, if I was in a room with how many people? Like 150, 200? How many did you say at the top?
There are, like, 600 people in this
Oh,
building.
600. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
If there were 600 people in a room out of our couple thousand person high school, I would imagine that someone somewhere would have known, you know? So that's kind of what I'm thinking of. Are you about to tell me you went to the smallest high school ever?
Um, I just love that you're like, oh my, couple thousand people. Um, there were almost more people in this building than in my whole high school.
I
There
know.
were roughly 700 of us
It was
total.
just your entire school basically at the party.
Yes. So, I'm familiar with a population this size. And if somebody from our high school had done this,
Yes,
we would have been like, that was the person.
exactly.
So, it's a small community.
Yeah, seems unlikely that no one would know.
It does, unless you were an outside acting party.
Right.
So whoever it was got away with it. And I absolutely hope that they felt guilty for the rest of their life.
Yeah, I really believe that people pay for their sins one way or the other. Just it comes back on you somehow, some way, at some point it will. That is the only thing that gets me to sleep at night. And
Yep, you're gonna
it's
get
why
your
I'm so
comeuppance.
strict with myself with
Yep,
everything.
you are gonna get your comeuppance. You're gonna get your comeuppance in this life or the next. It's
That's
coming
right.
for you.
I believe that. So good luck to that person, wherever they ended up.
Um, I do not wish them luck.
I don't either.
59
I'm just
children.
being magnanimous. Yeah, no.
Uh,
Rot.
so, yeah.
Rot.
Mm. The tensions remained high between the union and the company men, but the strike did end in April of 1914.
Man, the fact that
Then,
it kept going for a couple more months, even after all that, is insane.
absolutely, and this is a long strike.
Yeah.
The building itself was demolished in 1984 for public safety reasons, and
Hmm.
the area where the hall once stood is now a village park. The Keweenaw National Historic Park, managed by the National Park Service, now works to help with maintenance at the site, and the building's sandstone arch was actually later reinstalled at the site, and it now stands as a silent witness to this tragedy in front of a granite marker with the names of the 73 souls taken too soon on Christmas Eve, 1913.
Wow. Kitty.
I
It
know.
was
I
heavy.
you gave us Woodstock 99, and you're talking to us about poop and trench foot and trench mouth, and yeah, I brought it way down.
So far down. I mean, no, I
The
think it's
next one, the next one is not so tragic.
okay.
It's tragic, but
Sure.
not we've lost 73 people, 59 of them children. Tragic.
No, but that was really interesting, and I'm really glad that you gave us that background on the labor movements and the union and especially script. I think it's important for people to know that stuff too, to get a full picture of this. So yeah,
Right.
that
And
was very interesting, Katie, and you did a great job, I think.
oh, thank you.
That was wild.
But script just stresses me out. It really does. Can you imagine you get paid in worthless paper or coins, and then you have to go to your boss, to the company store, to ask them for the things that you need for basic living?
Absolutely not.
It just,
No.
oh,
No. But they didn't have a choice, and that's heartbreaking.
it really is.
Mm.
So, my conclusion is that the Italian Hall remains an impactful reminder that sometimes labor struggles against corporate greed come with the cost of human lives.
Wow. What a disaster.
What a disaster. So, thanks everybody for listening today.
Thank you.
And we will see you again soon because like this is our first week. So, there'll be 3
Mhm.
this week, right?
Yep, you'll be seeing a lot of us this week.
And then after that, you'll get weekly episodes. But until then,
Until then. If you like our show, please rate, review, and subscribe anywhere you listen to your podcasts, and check out our Patreon for bonus episodes and special content. You can also find us on Instagram. To submit your own disaster stories for listener episodes or to suggest or request a topic, please visit our website at www.wreckageandruins.com. Wreckage and Ruins is researched, written, reported, and edited by us, Cece and Kitty, with music by Tearing Down the Circus. And the show is produced by Wood and Wreckage, LLC. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week in the aftermath.